Oh, Lord. I'm still in my PJs. My hair's so oily. My back hurts. Yeah, anyway. I don't want to be here forever, yo. I do not want to be here forever. My dogs are obsessed with me to the point where I can't even have it. Like, she's going to be behind me this whole time now. Yep. She's right behind me. So it's like, I can't even lean back. And then I have a dog right in front of me. You might see him get up because he's very indecisive as a dog. Anyway, let's just put Warner Huntington III right here. I named my owl Squishmallow after Warner Huntington III from Legally Blonde, because right now I'm doing Legally Blonde the musical. So hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm in a very uncomfortable situation right now. My back gets very sore very easily, but I've decided if I don't have IBS issues, after this video, I will go to the gym and pump some iron. I'm very excited, but that means I have to charge my phone. Haven't got around to doing that, but it's fine. So, this is my October monthly wrap up. I have got 10 books here, but I've actually only read 9. It's a bit shit, to be honest. It is a bit shit. I have 10 here for the reason because I did pick them all up, and there's one that I haven't even finished the first chapter, but these chapters are huge, and they are, it's on it's like the last one, but I will get to that. I'm doing this in the order of all the books that I read. I need to also try and remember all the ratings that I gave them. Without further ado, let's get straight into this video. The first book that I finished in October was The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. I loved this book. I have never ever read it. I've only watched this movie once when it came out. Like, this was ages ago, and I vividly remember in the movie the whole, like, the chat with the teacher. I've already forgotten the teacher's name, fuck's sake, hold on. I'm getting the name Bill. Bill is in my head right now. Bill! I was right, it is Bill, the teacher. Basically, I remember very vividly, he said, we accept the love we think we deserve. And I was like, pop off. Okay, so this book, if none of you have read this, if none of you even know the story, it's about Charlie. And first things first, I really, really enjoy a book where the protagonist is a boy, because majority of the books in this world, it's all about the girls, and sometimes it's just a bit too cliche. I also really loved that in this book, you know how there's always a character development where, like, the main character in the book has someone that's died. Most of the time it's a parent. He has both his parents in this world. So I was like, thank goodness. I was really, really happy about this. I was like, yes, we don't have to deal with the whole, like, oh yeah, my mom died, so that's just, this is how I am, you know? It's like, no. He had someone very close to him. He has 2 people in his life that died. Poor thing is very, very, very emotional and has gone through trauma at such a young age. He had his friend Michael pass away. I'm not going to say how. Same thing with his Aunt Helen, which Aunt Helen was everything to him. So there is a reason for why he is the way he is. I love his way of thinking because he really reminds me of me. Like, how he is. He's a very observant person as a wallflower. He's always there, staring at everyone else. And then when he says, I didn't think people noticed me, that really got me. I was like, oh shit. I didn't want to, like, annotate this book or anything, but I literally highlighted all of my favorite things. Like, towards the end, there was this one thing. Like, there's a lot of things in this book that I just adored. And I'm never going to get rid of this, especially the fact because it was $23 to buy this book. So there's a character in this book called Sam. And Sam has a very wonderful way of thinking, kind of feministy at the same time, but like she's obviously dating a fuckwit, but most of us do at that age. Where is it? Where Sam says something and I was like, oh, immediately me. Like, whew, I'm seeing red right now. Okay. I don't think that's from Sam. There's this whole page where like I literally highlighted everything. There's like a full bracket because I just didn't want to highlight the whole page. Okay, what does this even say? I'm just gonna say this, like, if you don't want any spoilers for this book, skip ahead until hopefully I'll have it here somewhere of the time. Okay, why didn't you ask me out when the whole Craig thing happened? And then, well, I thought of a lot of things, but mostly I thought that your being sad was much more important to me than Craig not being your boyfriend anymore. And if it meant that I would never get to think of you that way, as long as you were happy, it was okay. That's when I realized that I really loved you. And then Sam kind of gets all like educational, which I really appreciated. At first I was like, girlie, calm the fuck down. He's just learning, but this was a learning curve for him. And I like what she says. She says, Charlie, don't you get it? I can't feel that. It's sweet and everything, but it's like you're not even there sometimes. It's great that you can listen and be a shoulder to someone, but what about when someone doesn't need a shoulder? What if they need the arms or something like that? You can't just sit there and put everyone's lives ahead of yours and think that counts as love. You just can't. You have to do things. Oh, and then there's another one. Charlie, I told you not to think of me that way 9 months ago because of what I'm saying now. Not because of Craig, not because I didn't think you were great. It's just that I don't want to be somebody's crush. If somebody likes me, I want them to like the real me, not what they think I am. And I don't want them to carry it around inside. I want them to show me so I can feel it too. I want them to be able to do whatever they want around me. And if they do something I don't like, I'll tell them. And I was like, slay! Literally fucking slay. She says some good shit. Ooh, I like literally this whole section here I bracketed. I don't know if you can see the bracket. Hold on. Like full on. This is the epilogue. About half a mile from the tunnel, Sam stopped the car and I climbed in the back. Patrick played the radio really loud so I could hear it, and as we were approaching the tunnel, I listened to the music and thought about all the things that people have said to me over the past year. I thought about Bill telling me I was special, and my sister saying she loved me, and my mum too, and even my dad and brother when I was in the hospital. I thought about Patrick calling me his friend, and I thought about Sam telling me to do things, to really be there. And I just thought how great it was to have friends and a family. As we went into the tunnel, I didn't hold my arms up like I was flying. I just let the wind rush over my face, and I started crying and smiling at the same time because I couldn't help feeling just how much I loved my Aunt Helen for buying me 2 presents, and how much I wanted the present I bought my mum for my birthday to be really special, and how much I wanted my sister and my brother Sam and Patrick and everyone else to be happy. But mostly, I was crying because I was suddenly very aware of the fact that it was me standing up in the tunnel with the wind over my face, not caring if I saw downtown, not even thinking about it, because I was standing in the tunnel and I was really there. And that was enough to make me feel infinite. Like, are you fucked? Honestly, Stephen has some good wording. Stephen, you poetic genius. Oh, speaking of poetic geniuses, Coco Malice writes very, very maturely. I loved this book and I wanted to keep this book very aesthetically pleasing because, as you can tell, Coco has a very wonderful book. She, like, look at this. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? The artistry just on the cover. And I am the type of person, I'm not gonna lie, I do judge books by its cover, but theoretically in life, like with certain things, like judging things, for like, I don't judge them by, I'm getting startled, I just feel really overwhelmed. I don't like to judge people and I don't like to judge things by their cover, theoretically. But when it comes to books, I actually do, unfortunately. I want to stop being like that, but this is just the way I am. It's just the way it is. But you got to admit, this is phenomenal, the artistry. I was drawn in. I saw this all over TikTok before really reading it, and I was like, shit. I didn't even, like, I honestly went into this blindly. I didn't read the blurb or anything, had no idea, didn't even need to look up trigger warnings because I was very in it. There was one particular scene, all I'm going to say, the sugar glider, and then I'm going to have no context with another clue, toilet. I cannot deal with how fucking tragic that scene was for me. I actually cried, and I'm not the type of person to just cry anymore because sometimes I just don't have time for that. I am an emotional person, but I let it welt up for ages, and then I just let it all out really, really crazily for one day, but it takes a while. It really brews. Anyway, so speaking of Coco Mellor's Cleopatra and Frankenstein, I adored this. I gave this 5 stars purely because I love how flawed everyone is in this book. No one's perfect. And yeah, there may have been some happy endings, some pleasant endings, but I wasn't even expecting it. Halfway through the book, I was like, okay, this is a very mature book. I was really appreciating how real and raw it is. And not only did it focus solely on Cleo, what I'm trying to say is it didn't actually solely focus on Cleo and Frank themselves. It focused on everyone else around them as well. You had so many underlining issues for every single particular person in the book. Specifically, Cleo. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but this poor girl, my age too, which I found very, very, very refreshing. I was very happy to read about a girl who is my age, and I was like, oh, this is a good book to read in your 20s, or even like later on too. You can. It's so good because there's older people in this book as well that are very integral. We've got Cleo, who I thought at first, like straight off the bat, I was like, okay, cool. Like she loves a silver daddy. Like she, not even that though, because Frank is he's not an old guy. I don't know if he has grey hairs or anything, but she likes older men, which I thought was pretty cool. One thing that I didn't like was the situation with that one other person. And out of context, I'm just going to say one thing. On the floor while someone was away. I'm really bad at doing this sort of stuff because I just don't, like, that's a hint. Surely people who have read this book can understand who I'm talking about. It was really, really refreshing. I'm not going to say that Cleo was my favourite person. I'm trying to think. My favourite person, not even a person in this book, it was the freaking sugar glider. I thought that was very, very wholesome. Anytime the sugar glider was in this book, I was like, pop off. I was like, thank you. It was sweet. Now, there was one person at first, I judged them. I didn't like them at the start, and I really tried not to like them. I just didn't want to like them. Ended up really, really liking Eleanor. Eleanor in this book. I can't really give you guys a plot and like a summary for this because it's all like every chapter it grows and grows and grows and grows, but it's like all in different sections of the time of the year that they're in. Lots and lots and lots of stuff happen. Lots and lots of stuff happens. And it's about people navigating their struggles, maybe making the wrong choices. But yeah, it was really raw and real. I did not want to like Eleanor, but I ended up feeling like I related to Eleanor mostly out of anyone in the book, which I thought was cool. I liked the ending. I actually did like the ending. Usually I get shit scared for endings. I don't know if I can say much more about this book, but if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it, especially if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s onwards. Like, it's so good. I liked it. It was a lot different compared to everything that I usually read. I didn't necessarily like fully annotate this book. I didn't tab it at all, but I just used a grey lead pencil. I underlined everything. There was one person in this book who had the funniest one-liners. I'm trying to remember who it was. Aubrey? I think it's Aubrey. Let's try and find, because this was ages ago for me. This was like one of the first books that I started reading. Aubrey, I don't know, Audrey. I'll try and find the page because like there was, every time this person spoke, I was pissing myself laughing. There was a lot of me laughing, and then there was obviously a scene of me crying. There were so many things in this book that I was like writing, saying like, slay girls, fuck that shit, whoop whoop. And I was saying like, I would deck this bastard right here. Audrey, you know what was one of them? Anytime Audrey opened her mouth, I was like, you queen. I was like, I love you. So yeah, that was a good book as well. Good 5-star read. I have forgot to preface as well, most of these books are 5 stars. I don't know what it is, like I don't know what it is with me, but I just really enjoyed majority of these books. Like 100%. The next thing I got was the Heartstopper Yearbook. This was just like a must read, must have. It's staple in the library. I found this was just beautiful. I love anything with Alice Oseman because the illustrations are everything. Are you kidding? Like, how cute is this? Like, happy Halloween, bitch. So cute. Okay, what I found really nice and interesting was like, you really got to see all of how she developed, and it was nice to hear that these amazing things can really evolve over time. Like success, oh sorry Archie, my dog. Success doesn't just go like it, sometimes for some people it can, but what I'm saying is success doesn't just happen one day after you just magically evolve and be creative. Like, this woman took so long and worth it too, like put her heart and soul into this, which I'm very grateful for, because this whole universe is amazing. It's really helped me enjoy and love the community that I'm a part of. So basically there was a lot of like through the years of how Alice has evolved in her artistry with the illustrations and everything, and how she's had all these stories for a while and they've all developed. There was a take a test scene, are you Nick or Charlie? And I was mostly Nick, which was cute, but there was other times where I was like, I am literally like, I'm the devil or the angel. That's not the right wording. I'm literally either Nick or Charlie. Like, it's so hard. Some days I could be Nick, some days I could be Charlie. What was nice was most of the characters have a little profile and their pronouns, when their birthday is, and like their song, and pretty much all their like the info that you 100% need to know, like what they're like, what they dislike. For example, when Alice was creating Nick, she says, when creating Nick, I wanted him to be a gentle giant, a lad on the outside, but a sweet and caring boy on the inside. He's often rightly compared to a golden retriever, and he's a go with the flow kind of person. And everywhere apparently is his song, which is really cute. I just love it. But Boyfriend by Best Coast is Charlie's song. And I do believe Charlie is a Taurus and Nick is a Virgo, so they are meant to be together, which is nice. She's compatibility wise, good job. And also Alice has a huge section in this book where she teaches you how to draw these characters, which I'm so excited to get around to. I read through it and I was thoroughly immersed. It only took me just under an hour to fully read this. I love Tori. Oh my god, Tori is everything. I would love to play Tori in this, if I was in it. April 5th, an Aries. Dislikes most people, gossip and fakeness, and likes alone time, laptop and diet lemonade. And Everything in Its Right Place by Radiohead is her song. Very, very enjoyable. I gave this a 4.5 star. Loved it. Next book I read, drum roll please, Daisy Jones and the Six. I tabbed some of these pages too. I usually don't tab anymore. In my first, like when I really started to get back into reading, like in this, like just under this whole year, I started like fully going in with the tabbing. and then I kind of drifted out. It just really depends on what you're vibing in that situation, and also like the book itself, like the vibes that it gives off. I wanted to get because I know that this book is like is kind of like pretty much an autobiog for this band. I thought because there's going to be so much development and history, I wanted to tab any kind of like plot that I wanted. And then with the green tabs, I tabbed every single, it wasn't really a chapter, but I tabbed like every, was it a chapter? It wasn't, like it was just like every part of the book. There wasn't many parts, which I found was refreshing. Just under 400 pages, and I loved it. I loved it. This is now the second book that I've read from Taylor Jenkins Reid. I actually have majority of her books and I haven't gotten around to them. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is amazing. She's right up there with Sevev. Like, she's right up there with Sevev. My favourite people in this book is Billy. Even though Billy got on my nerves, I feel like if anyone, like, I'm not going to be biased, or I'm trying not to be biased, but if I were to play anyone in this story, I would be Daisy, and I understand why, like, they had their frustrations for each other. Personally though, I would not be as gacked as she was. It was really hard to read, so definitely like look up the trigger warnings and everything if you haven't read this book yet. Loved it though. I actually gave this a 5 stars. I liked how Reese Witherspoon quoted saying, "I devoured this in a day." It took me like 3 days to read this on end. I was going through a lot when I was reading this too, so I like didn't have a lot of time. I probably could have read it all in a day myself. I highlighted so many things in this book. Oh, I literally just... There's one line from Camilla where she goes, "Who the fuck do you think you are cheating on me? You think there's a woman alive who is better than what you have?" I was like, me, slay. One thing I really, really enjoyed about the writing style of this was any person, there was like 98% of the people in this book are in fact main characters. I thoroughly enjoyed how they all just had a paragraph and it would just, that's how the story would go. I was also visualizing the whole time them sitting in an interview chair being interviewed by someone, and then till the end you'll see who is interviewing them and you're like, oh my god, that's so cool, because you don't know at the start like who's interviewing them, which I found really cool. So it was like a mystery, but yeah, I felt the whole time each person that was talking was sitting in the interview chair, kind of like telling their side of the story, answering questions, but I was also like having like snippets and flashbacks to like what's going on in the scene, and I was really, really into it. So I cannot wait for the movie to come out. I just know it's going to be fantastic. I already know it. I love the aesthetic of this book. I love how it's in an era where it's like just before the 80s. I think that is so cool. Hippie freaking vibes, like late 60s to late 70s. So it's a good decade. Oh, my neck. Yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I cannot give any spoilers, but I did like how it ended, but obviously it was really heartfelt. I was really sad for some of the characters because I would have loved to have had more depth with some of them. I would love to have a lot more depth with Karen out of all of them, and Camilla, so I'm excited to see how they do it in the movie, which will be really cool. Billy and Daisy definitely have a lot already in the book, which is good. So I can't wait to see the conflict. It's going to be a bit triggering, obviously, with like the drugs and everything and the alcohol, but I really liked Billy's character development, and I'm so proud that he stuck to it. Like, he's very, very, very passionate, which was good. Oh, and like Billy and Graham, obviously because they're brothers, but I would love to see, like, I'm really hoping that they don't do Graham dirty in the movie. I would like to see, because this poor thing, he needs more support. This guy, like, I feel terrible for him, but it was so good. I'm just thanking you, Taylor Jenkins Reid. Thank you for this. Thank you for this awesome book. Moving on to the next one. I finished this the other day and I teared up at the end. I was like, oh my God. I didn't think I was going to fully love this book. I really, really loved it. I gave it 5 stars. At the first, I was kind of like, oh, pointless shit again. There's some pointless things in the second book and in the third book, but I feel like everything was still meant to happen. I can't even tell you what team I'm on because it's just going to give away the ending. Like, it's going to spoil everything. So I genuinely cannot tell you. All I'm going to say is I really, really enjoyed the ending and I'm happy with how it ended. So don't get any ideas. Don't beg for a spoiler because it's not going to happen. Obviously, Belly, yeah, she annoys the shit out of me. She's one of those main characters where I'm like, you really think you ate? But, like, she is pretty cool at the same time. What a lucky girl as well, having 2 boys fucking swoon over you. Yeah, there's some characters in this book where I'm just on the ride with them the whole time, and I have been this whole time. I love both the brothers too much. There's one brother in particular though in the third book where I didn't like how they were portrayed. I was like, oh, rats. I was like, okay, cool. But the ending with both the brothers, I was like, good, maturity, very good. Dying over here. I highlighted most things in this book that I liked. I really liked too how there was chapters from brothers now, like their POVs, which I was like, yes, because in the first book, I can't remember, it's been a while, but in the first book particularly, I don't think there was chapters from them. I think it was just Belly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't be rude. Gave it 5 stars. I gave it 5 fucking stars. It's one of my favorite books that I read this year. Very happy. I kind of want to reread it again, I'm not gonna lie. Can they get the TV show going. All I'm gonna say too is from reading, because I've read The Summer I Turned Pretty. I've read it twice, and I've also watched the season, like the TV show. I've watched that 3 times. I really liked it, but there's a lot of difference in the series and the book in the first one. So I'm not going to be surprised if there is quite a huge change. All I'm going to say is it's very nice to see that Jenny is like with them filming and everything. Like I'm following all the Instagram and the TikTok and all of that, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, we'll just have to see, because in the first book they don't have this ball and everything, but in the TV show it's like hugely focused on that as well. I found too, which was nice, in the TV show, it was nice to have a lot of focus on the mums, which I thought was good, because in the books, in particular in the first book, like you don't really, like I was really expecting that, because unfortunately I watched the show before I read it, but I'm still glad that I watched it. My dog is being annoying behind me. So yeah, 5 stars, really liked it. I just got sidetracked just then. Look at this thickie. So I read this thick, huge book. This is vengeance in itself, this book. A lot happens, which I'm very grateful for, because with this being so thick, I was like, thank goodness there's a lot going on, because if this was a drag, like slow, I would have just been furious. So, A Court of Wings and Ruin, really, really liked this. I gave this 5 stars as well. I know, I'm crazy. I've given so many. Just crazy. I am really crazy. I am really crazy. Yeah, so A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. Loved it. It's thick. It was just under 700 pages, I believe, which was crazy. Actually, I think there's even more. There's more than 700 pages. So yeah, I am very grateful for all of the names and the characters that Sarah has created in this beautiful, amazing world. I love the world building. I'm very visual as well. Like I could visualize everything that was going on. One person in particular in this book, Lucian, I wish I just knew him personally, because I would probably fall in love with him. At the same time, if I was the main character, he could be my best friend, but I would definitely 1000% be with Recent. Love him. I literally cannot tell you what goes on. I can't even explain the plot to you because this is the 3rd book in the series. I can't give anything away. No spoilers at all. But Lucian, like, I'm really, really happy with the way he, yeah, I'm really happy with his storyline in this book and his plot and everything and his role in it and all. It was good. Obviously, there's a lot of passion and sexual stuff in this book too. It could not be a Sarah J. Maas book without a bit of fairy porn. Let's be real. I love it. I love the fae, just anything. Like, she's got it all. Like, you can tell this woman has developed this series and this world. Like, she's got every layer. There's so many layers to it all, and she's really well thought it out. So thank you, Sarah, for creating a wonderful universe. I cannot believe I'm almost finished it. Like, this whole universe. I'm going to be sad. He's still there. Right, the next book that I read was the 4th book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. It's called A Court of Frost and Starlight. I gave this 3 stars. I loved it. Like, don't get me wrong. I hate him. I hate him. What I found really interesting about this book is it's like, on the darkest night the stars still shine. It says that on the back. I can't obviously give you guys spoilers. I found that it was like, I gave it 3 stars because I just thought that it wasn't really necessary to have this book, to be honest. I still enjoyed it. It was nice to like close the chapter on the plot and, you know, the protagonist vibes and all of that. Obviously they're still going to be in the next book, which I'm very excited for. A Court of Silver Flames, I believe that's what it's called. And I've heard that it's mostly about Cassian and Nesta, which is very exciting. But yeah, I'm very happy that I read all these books. Don't get me wrong, like, this was cute. I've devoured it in a day. It was good. I don't really like this cover, to be honest. I don't. I like this one. I really, really, really like the first 2 covers, which is good. So I like the colors of them though, which is nice. And the feel of the covers too, like they all feel so nice. Okay, I've got 3 more books left. Okay, so I am well and truly far into this book. It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. I got this literally the day it came out. I pre-ordered it and everything. I'm just very sad because I haven't finished it and I really wanted to finish it for today, but because it is the 1st of November for me here and I just wanted to be on top of my game. But I am far into it and I will give it a really good rating. I feel like it will get a good rating with the way it's going, because in the first, like literally before this starts, Colleen says, "Dear reader, this book is a sequel to It Ends With Us and begins right where the first book concluded. For the best reading experience, It Starts With Us should be read second in the 2-book series. After releasing It Ends With Us, I never imagined I would one day be writing a sequel. I also never imagined that the book would be received as it has been by so many. I am so grateful to all of you who found Lily's story to be empowering, as I find my own mother's. After It Ends With Us gained momentum on TikTok, I was inundated with requests for more Lily and Atlas, and how could I possibly deny a community that has changed my life? This novel was written as a thank you for the tremendous support, and because of that, I wanted to deliver a much lighter experience. Lily and Atlas deserve it. I hope you enjoy their journey. All my love, Colleen Hoover." So like when I read that first, I was like, eee, like they do deserve it. But I'm at the moment, I'm up to chapter 14 and I have been highlighting some of my favorite things that have been said. I'm very, very much enjoying also the fact that it's so huge. The writing is so huge, so I'm getting through it very quickly. But at the end of the day, I'm also not enjoying the pace. I'm finding right now, like being at chapter 14, well and truly over 100 pages, I kind of really want the pace to get a little bit quicker. I don't know, I'm just finding like, you know, but things are starting, like right now, things are starting to get interesting. I'm very excited. Hopefully I can finish this by the end of tonight, which is exciting. I did want to film a reading vlog of this, and I have been trying to, but I also, like, every single video that I have of me reading this, I've been like, oh, sorry, like at the start of it I go, sorry guys, I fell asleep. Like, how unmotivating is that? And I just don't want that to go out onto the YouTube universe. I don't want people to be like, okay, boring. Although this is like just for me and my fun and everything. But one thing I will say is I am thoroughly enjoying Atlas. I loved him in the first book, especially when he was younger. And then there's this beautiful scene where he's in the car and he writes something down about his experience. So it's really nice to hear, and like it's really nice to read his take on everything that's happened, and also the reasons for why he is the way he is, and like what happened to him and what led to him becoming that version of himself when he was younger. And now he's obviously successful, which is awesome. So I don't know the ending, but I am excited. I will do a book review video on this as well, which might contain spoilers, most likely. So I will put a spoiler warning for it, but I doubt hundreds and thousands of people are going to watch it, just because there's not a lot of growth going on. But that's why I'm doing, because I have been very, 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 very lazy, or also just kind of like unmotivated. Like I do try and film things and then I delete them because I got self-doubt issues and all that. Anyway, really enjoying this. I'm excited to finish it. I actually like the cover as well. I freaking hated the first one. Okay, I have an iPad. On this iPad, I've got iBooks, and I have been reading Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I'm up to chapter 5. I'm really liking the size of the chapters. They're not too huge, they're not too small, and I'm really liking the development for some of these characters. I like how the main girl, her name is Anastasia, but people call her Stacy. I'm like, that's so hot. And I had no idea that like these two people were going to link. Like I thought it was going to literally be about the person that she's involved with at the start, and I was thinking, oh yeah, like this is going to develop, like it's not meant to be right now, but like it will. I'm not going to say anything else, but like things are starting to really happen with different people. I like how there's a lot involved. I'm also really enjoying the sports romance. I love watching sports romance movies and stuff, and like TV shows, especially Spinning Out. When it first came out on Netflix, I felt like I was the only person that watched it. I don't know why I watched it. I was really intrigued. Like I genuinely watched it the day it came out. I got a notification and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go watch this. Pardon me, I just burped. I love it. I loved it. Not saying that it's like heavily similar, because I'm literally only up to chapter 5 right now, but I will let you guys know. Also, the reason for why I'm reading it on my iPad is because you can't get it in any stores physically in Australia, which is, well, in my state. So it's really ridiculous for me. I'm very upset about it, to be honest, but I'm happy with it being on my iPad, because that means the light's on when I'm in bed and I can actually like still read through it and everything. So I'm going to be doing that tonight. I'm going to be devouring it. 460 pages, I believe. Huge book. That's huge. I don't know why. Maybe it's that amount digitally, like, but yeah, I'm still very, very excited, very well into it. Now, last but not least, I have The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I have not finished this. I really, really wish that I did. Like I regret to inform you that I'm not even up to chapter 2 in this book. So technically I shouldn't even have this book in this video, but I picked it up and I've tried to attempt to read it 3 times. But I sillily tested out a sort of way for me to develop my reading ability. It hasn't really worked, to be honest, so I'm just gonna have to not put too much pressure on myself. But I read like 4 books at a time, and I found that was really tricky for me, and I didn't have enough attention devoted to this kind of book, and I want to make sure that I only read this like before reading anything else. So I'm gonna try and devote my sole attention. I've got a dog behind me, I'm gonna try and devote all of my attention in the one go with this book. I'm so far really liking it actually, and I've heard that there's an ending like no other in this book, so I'm very excited. You're gonna see in my November wrap up, you're gonna see it starts with us, you're gonna see this, and you're gonna see Icebreaker, because I will give you the ratings and everything. But so far I've heard tremendous things about The Secret History and Icebreaker, so I cannot wait to actually fully have a review and a rating, which is so exciting. So exciting! One thing too that I really want to do, and I wanted to mention, is that I really want to start book journaling. Like, I want to get a full-on journal, and it's kind of like a bullet journal, but it's strictly only for books and like my TBR and just like the log of it all. And I really, really want to get into it, but I don't have the materials. I don't have a printer. So yeah, and I don't have ink, and I know that's really expensive. I do live relatively close to an Officeworks. Officeworks is like a printing place in Australia. It's very well established. I think it's great, but every time I go there, I've gone there a lot this year for like printing a lot that I've had to do for work and stuff, and I just have dreaded going there now because I'm usually there, like I want to be there for like say 15 minutes, but I end up being there and I'm out of the house for 2 hours because of how much that I have to print. So it's very off-putting for me, but I know that's the cheaper way for me to do, and I do need to be cheap because I am a struggling adult in my 20s, struggling to survive and pay rent. I pay so much rent. I'm gonna cry just thinking about it, but yeah. Anyways, I wanted to just say, yeah, you might see a little start my book journaling with me. And I don't know if I want to start the book journaling now because it is literally November, but it could be cool for me to like start it from the beginning of this whole year right now. So I'm thinking I might hop in the car and get some materials. I'm not sure, but it means that I'll have to like get the digital things first. Like I want to print out all the little, because I want to fully go for this. Like I want to have photos of all the books and the covers and everything and like glue them on, and it'll be great. So we'll just have to suss it out. We'll see what happens. But I am very, very excited because I feel like having a book journal will be really, really motivating for me. So that is the end of my book video. I'm just going to put this here and hold this up. This is the end of my October wrap up. I'm very happy that I read all these books. Let me know which ones are your favorite from this pile that I have here. No spoilers, but also please tell me your thoughts on Icebreaker and It Starts With Us, and also The Secret History, just so I can be really, really motivated to finish and fully get into The Secret History. I am so upset and disappointed that I didn't get to read it this month because of all months. It's spooky season. It would have been so cool to read it. But yeah, I really, really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you didn't, that's fine. But if you did, please give it a like because it really supports my channel. And I will see you guys in my next video. It most likely will be It Starts With Us review with I don't know, you'll just have to see. But thank you guys for all the support and love, and I'll see you soon. Bye! My back is killing me. Do you guys like the setup? The setup is so cool. Bye.